Hey guys, and in this video I'm gonna show you a new Grayscale module that's called Supercell, and I'm gonna show you all its modes just in one patch for making some lossy ambient stuff in serial and parallel processing. So I've got already pretty simple patch. Just from the sequencer modular clocked, some gate sequencers that reduce clock, and just a palette, so you will get some this plug stuff. Not interesting at all, but I'm gonna start with bit repeat with some nice presets I choose from, and here how it sounds like. Pretty nice. So what's actually bit repeat do? It receives a clock signal or just gates from any source you want, and here is a slice probability. So if you disconnect a clock with full of slice probability and set it to the different position, for example, so now you disable bit repeat at all. So you need to press this knob and nothing is gonna do it. This tool is actually needs a clock. So I also used a glue from Stoermelder, and new version allows you to save those labels to the strips, so you can use it across all your patches. And you can get this all glue stuff on my Patreon as well as this patch. It's pretty easy to understand what each mode is exactly doing without diving into manual a lot. So here's a loop begin, and this thing is actually selecting where the loop will start from. And here is a CV control for it, and the nice thing about Supercell is those attenuverters already has built in some fluctuation voltage, so when you adjust it from the 0 point at 12 noon, you already get some CV influence fluctuations to this knob, and it's pretty awesome. Here's loop size. It's pretty obvious. You can also modulate it. This thing is actually pretty clicky, so I used the last sample rate, I think is around 8 kilohertz, and it's pretty lo-fi, but it reduces clicks a lot. You can also experiment with different thing, and you hear that don't nice bit crusher effect, so I use this thing which has already built-in mu low on, such as low pass filter for the bit crusher thing. So with the speed, so it's actually like a tape speed. Pretty nice. So this is actually loop size modulation. Just increase glue white a bit. So it's doing like these knobs, I believe. And here is a slice step. And this thing has also a bit randomness into the loop. Here's a clock divider. So So it's use a division to divide your incoming clock, I believe. Here's a pitch with a different set of reverse playback or just forward pitched things. I just like to do a reverse playback with this thing. It sounds pretty like a reverse tape or just loop tape. And here's a feedback network. If you increase it, you should probably hear some pitched modulations, but now I can do it, I don't know why. And the select slice is a randomness selected slice around this bit repeat. Oh, now you can hear a feedback network. It just increase and increase to prevent some feedback overload. I just reduced it a bit. Okay, and select slice is just a random defined by incoming fluctuation signal to the played slice. So now you're just hearing only one slice. Not interesting. So yeah, that's nice. So you can also inject some CV voltage you like in aux input, and this input would be distributed around these attenuverters, which is also pretty cool. So the next strip I would like to load is let's try another cameral mode, is spectral clouds. So it's like a FFT filter, kind of filter bank, but not pretty in setting a lot of settings or so. So let's make some parallel thing to know how it works. Oops. And turn the mix fully wet. Let's try to experiment with bond probability with let's mute the first channel. Increase the reverb. And here's a warm distortion. It's a pretty nice thing that you can get out of this clouds mode. Pitch is pretty obvious to all clouds mode here. Oh, I like that position of filter texture. And I believe we should set this probability to some random fluctuations. So in this case you will get such a tube warm sound. And I believe we should get some serial processing, because this thing is pretty nice. And let's random mix a bit. Okay, you hear that? Some variations in spectrum. Yeah, I like how this sounds. You can also modulate filter texture a bit. Okay, that's pretty enough with these modes. Let's try to load another one. And here is a resin ester. This thing doesn't have any mix knob, so I will use obviously parallel processing. Let's try to take it at first from spectral clouds. This thing is actually kind of resonating sound. Think about rings, but it actually uses couple strong synthesis. So here you can choose a timbre and chart. Let's just decrease in input as well. I like that amount of harmonics. Filter is pretty nice, but it works pretty strange, not as obvious as your ordinary low pass and high pass. And yeah, let's try to modulate the scatter a bit. But we should take it with the main loop to get the whole complex patch in this case. Let's try to another sample rate or time mode. Let's try to mute this. Pretty cool. In using pan mode, you actually use a spatial control around the stereo base. And yeah, that's random mode is nice, and let's modulate it. It's really like a granular synthesis, but with different algorithms. It's pretty amazing. You can also hear the bass, and it's coming from the resonator. Let's also try to pitch this thing, but you can also hear increase this bass part. I think it's about harmonics things, but actually pitch here is adding a noise and tone. So I will release it in this state, and let's try another strip. And here is okay, spectral Oliver. Okay, so this is exactly reverb that was been extracted from clouds. Let's try to use resin ester, but probably this thing has a mix knob. So just inject this here. And yeah, Oliverb is pretty lush, I think over-lushed reverb in VCV Rack. So let's try to set this in an interesting way. I think you guys waiting for the more reverb, so let's increase it. So the goal is making a really lush sounding patch, but not wetty, just in an interesting way, and I think decay is the key here. Modulate the mod knob to make some lively chorusing effects. Let's modulate low pass a bit, decay of course. I don't think the pre-delay modulation would give us such a nice effect, and size as well. just like that. Let's mix it with our main bit repeat and spectral clouds bus. Let's increase the mix. Lushy, more lushy of course. And yeah, let's modulate the mix also. Nice. Let's continue with another strip here. And Spectral Madness. Welcome to Spectral Madness. And this thing is actually has a resynthesis algorithm inside. So it's similar with that stuff that frequency domain makes. Just working with the spectrum and FFT as you can see here. So let's try our resin ester output. It's already doing some weirdness. Let's increase the mix. So I think it's a good thing to add some noisy layers. Like insects, big amount of insects around this patch. Let's modulate the pitch, and in this case we can actually hear in the frequency and the shape the internal heading modulator has. With modulation a polynomial you can actually get some wow and flutter effect, but in digital domain pretty nice. I will adjust it a bit later maybe. So let's continue with another strip, and here is a pitch shifter. So it's actually working as a main granular mode, but using pitch shift algorithm instead granular. And let's take the main bit repeat output. Let's increase the mix. Let's start with the diffusion. Let's solo it to understand how it works. So it's actually freeze a bit. Also it has a time stretch and filter on board. So we can modulate just position a bit to make some stutters. And stutters here is a really ace. Just try to get some lo-fi-ness. Nice. Oh yeah, let's make some bass. Let's increase its gain, but the Supercell has an output 6 dB plus on board, and it's pretty nice. Oh, I just wrong instance. And let's add a space, so we can get some viola stuff, but pretty pitched, I believe. And yeah, sounds pretty cool. And let's add another mode. Here is a looping delay. Let's grab some spectral clouds output. I believe we should trigger it from our main clock. So it's like a delay, it sounds like a delay, but with some granular things on board, I believe. Let's just simulate start and land. Yeah, that delays, old school delays, repitch stuff in there. That really reminds some tape works. And yeah, of course, let's add a space to glue this. And let's mix our patch a bit. And here is the last mode remains, is actually Supercell, so no strip is required anymore. Just add a Supercell, and it's in granular mode. And let's take our main output from beat repeat. Let's solo this thing, and let's solo beat repeat in spectral clouds bus. Let's use a mix fully wet. And I believe we should use also fully mix in looping delay to prevent those spectral things. So I believe you're pretty familiar with main sound of clouds, so I would just make some sketches, granular sketches in there. Nice, just famous cloud sounds, and here's how it sounds like with fully wet and fully processed signal. Here we go. Let's find a 6th track on the EQ master and increase the bass actually. So yeah, in that way you can use a Supercell not only effect on your patches, but also as a sound creation tool that you can give it some pretty basic sound and makes it more and more complex with all of those different modes, and all of those gives you a pretty different sound palette in this case. So as always, you can get this patch on my Patreon, and hope you like this video. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time.